Good morning, everybody. All right. First off, if you are here live, let me know in the comments that you can see me and hear me. I'm seeing a little error here over on the Facebook side of things. I'm not 100% sure if we are actually live, so I want to double check in with you guys before I do a bunch of live sourcing. All right. So we're jumping on this morning to do day number 10 of our 15 days of sourcing. We've been doing this every single day for 15 days. Um, today, I brought, yes, you can see and hear me. Okay, sweet. I guess the error is just on my end. Perfect. Today, I saw a post in our Facebook group. Let me see if I can pull it up so I can show you guys. But someone was asking like, hey, does anyone use Nepeto? And if so, like, have you had any luck with it? I'm striking out or something along those lines. And as someone who like I make content about Amazon stuff, because I do that, I make it a point to try a lot of different tools. And I've started using Nepeto recently. Sorry, I'm just looking for that post so I can show you guys. There it is. I started using Nepeto pretty recently. And it was one of those things where I was like, whoa, this is kind of a game changer. This is not necessarily that it's like brand new stuff, but just how well it's doing what it's doing, and for the price point that they're charging, they're do like so. Okay, let me break this up. And here's the other confusing part because people get confused about what Nepeto is. Nepeto, there's three parts to Nepeto. There is a free, like 100% free phone scanning app. Like when you are doing your retail arbitrage at the store, you don't need any other apps anymore. You can just use the Nepeto app. It's as good as it gets. If you're using something else, great. If it's costing you money though, well, you could save that 20 bucks or whatever per month and just use the free Nepeto app. So there is a completely 100% free app that you can use to scan stuff. There is also a completely 100% free Chrome extension, which is like your on-screen calculator. Like if you've been using like Seller Amp or Rev Seller, things like that, this does that as well. It's that on-screen calculator portion when you're doing online arbitrage, and again, completely 100% free. Now, the way that Nepeto does make money is there's a third portion of Nepeto, which is, it's very similar to tools like Tactical Arbitrage or OA X-Ray, where it's kind of like a web scraper. It's like a lead generating machine where it's just always scraping websites for like UPCs and images and things like that and comparing them to Amazon. And if it's profitable, showing you the results. So I'm going to be jumping into that third section of this today for our live sourcing session. If you have any questions about it, let me know. If you want a link, I can send you a link that'll get you 2-week free trial for that web scraping portion of it. Or I can send you a link. There's separate links. I can send you a link to the free, like the phone scanning app part of it, which is just 100% free forever, not just 2 weeks. All right. So we are going to dive into that. Let me share my screen here. Let's see. Share entire screen. Yeah. So yeah, the first thing that you'll see here, this was the post that I'm talking about. Aubrey, I'm hoping that you're here live, or I hope that you watch the replay of this, because I'm literally doing this because you made a post about it in Hustle Buddies. And for the rest of you guys watching, if you are struggling with a certain part of sourcing, make a post about it in Hustle Buddies, and there's a very high chance that I can make a video about it the very next day, because I'm doing a lot of these sourcing videos for you guys completely for free. All right, so Aubrey said, has anyone had any good experiences with Nepeto? I've been using it for about a week. And this is my response. Obviously, like everyone's experience is going to be different. I don't want to say like, oh, your experience is wrong or your experience is invalid. No, they've been trying the tool and it hasn't been working for them. I don't know for whatever reason, but I can share from what my experience is. And my experience is like, this is the easiest to learn. There's like almost no barrier to entry. This is the fastest leads I've ever found. And I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about here. So I'm going to log into Nepeto. This is like a plain, fresh page. I have input no settings at all. Oh, and by the way, I just remembered this. There is a link there at the top left corner of your screen. There's a little QR code. That is for our upcoming sourcing camp. It's starting next. So this is Monday. It's starting next Friday. So we're getting down to it, guys. We're just a little bit away. If you're interested in joining us for a sourcing camp, let me know if you want more info. Okay, so this is a fresh page. This is what your homepage for Nepeto looks like. Now, there's lots of different ways, different aspects of this that you can use. If it's your very first time using it, I recommend skipping pretty much everything and starting right here. The one that says most recommended, just start there. This is the easiest, the most basic, the simplest way to find stuff. Now, when I clicked that, what is it showing us? It is showing us products that it has found online automatically through its web scraping. Like they basically are, they're pulling all of like the back end data from these websites. They're finding UPCs, they're finding images, and they're matching those to Amazon listings. And then if it's profitable and if it's selling for the most part, it's going to show me that data. It does an incredible job of finding matches. There are very, very, very few mismatches, which is one of the biggest compliments that I can give them, because I feel like with a lot of other web scrapers, I'm spending most of my time finding mismatches and then moving on. It's like, oh, that's actually not a match. That's actually not a match. The matching ability of this is incredible. And this is my favorite part, you are incentivized to find mismatches. If you find, like, let's say this, it's not, but if this were a mismatch, you could mark this as a mismatch. And if you find 50 mismatches, they will give you Nepeto for free. You just get the product for free. If you like put in the work and you actually find legitimately 50 mismatches, you can see I'm up to 4 at this point. And that's just me reporting things like during these live videos. This is my video account where I can do content from it. Yeah, it's you're incentivized to find these mismatches, which I love. I think that's super cool. All right, so without any further, I can get an affiliate link to literally any tool. So it's not like, oh, Nate's just shilling this out. Like, no, legitimately, I've tried a lot of things and I freaking love this. And it's so affordable and so easy, okay? Let's dive into a couple of these. Aubrey said that they were having difficulties. You guys have watched my screen this whole time. I have input no settings. I have input nothing. I'm just gonna start going through here and I'll talk you through my thought process, okay? So, product number, and if you have questions, write them in the chat. I'll get to those in just a second. All right, product number 1, we've got this Bray Reese color watercolor pad. All right, visually it's a match. BSR is within a range that I like. Profit of $5, ROI of 140%. That seems fantastic. So let's see if this is a true match. If this is, I will heart it, and I would then recommend you guys could go look for this yourself and go buy it and flip it. All right, Bray Reese watercolor, free in-store pickup. Interesting, so it's not on sale, which means if this is sellable, if everything here actually does check out, then it could potentially be a replen. All right, so I'll pull up the Keepa chart, and what does this data tell me? This data tells me that yes, today it is ranked, whatever, 140,000, but when I'm looking at this movement, this is a pretty slow seller. Like this has sold, it's selling slow enough that you can pretty much count the number of times that it's sold. And I'm going to say since since January, it sold 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times. So about once per month, or twice per month. Sorry, because we're only halfway through the year. So it's selling once every other week, or one, like all of July, it didn't sell at all. But then in May, it sold twice. In August, it looks like it sold 3-ish times. So it's going a little bit. If I were to buy that, I would just buy like one of them. And I probably wouldn't pull the trigger on this unless I found subsequent products. Okay, so I'm going to pass on that one because it's just a little bit outside of what I like. All right, we'll glance at this. This is from Fleet Farm. It's a great website to add. Visually, it's a match. The rank looks good to me. $1.82 or 54% profit. All right, I'm good with that. The profit number is a little bit low, but with a place, especially something like Fleet Farm, you can find so much stuff here. And if you're already on the website, you might as well add this to your cart. This is the kind of thing, like, you're not really, it's grocery, so you're not really going to get returns for this type of thing. If you're making purchases already, I am personally okay making a small amount of money when it's something like this where it doesn't require prep. I don't need to be polybagging this, anything like that. All right. It sounds absolutely disgusting, but we'll pull up the Keepa data to see. Yep, Keepa data looks phenomenal. This is selling, and it's selling a lot. Historically, the price is very steady at about $10. It did go through a little blip back here where it kind of tanked down to like 880, roughly around there. But since then, it's gone back up and has stayed very consistently at this price. Prior, so July, it was actually up to 15. Let's pull this out all year. So I'll go last Q4. Last Q4 is between $9 and $13. So yeah, I think this $9.99 price is pretty reasonable. It could tank a little bit lower. It could also, especially in Q4, when I'll zoom in right here. So you see what happened here in December. The number of sellers dropped. So people were going out of stock. When the new offer count dropped, people going out of stock, what happened to the price? So I'm comparing two bits of data here. I'm comparing this blue bar, which is how many people are selling this, and I'm comparing this red bar, which is the price of the item. All right, so when the number of sellers went down, the price of the item went up. So I can see here in December, it went up to about $13.75. These couple people, there were still 8 people who were selling this. These people were making absolute bank here in December, selling this for $13. I'm gonna just show you what they were making here. So we found where to buy it, and this is not on sale. This is the all day, everyday price, $3.35. So we'll input that here. Yeah, those people were making bank, $4 and some change, over 100% ROI, and this is during Q4. Now, if we try to sell this right now, sort of the normal average price, $9.99. This I'm using ASIN Zen, this calculator right here. This is showing us $2.15, or about 60% ROI, which is solid. This, for me, that's a buy. That personally is a winner. Bonus that it's not on sale. Like, this is the all day, everyday price. So this is potentially a replen. All right. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to put a little heart by it. I'll stay on this screen for just a second. I'm going to highlight the ASIN. So B019PN4 and B4 if you're an audio memory kind of a person like me. That is the ASIN. Feel free to find it. We found it over there at fleetfarm.com for $3.35. So for me, that's profitable. That's selling. Everything looks good there. Just double check that you are ungated in that, and you'll be off to the races. Okay, so that first product was a dud. Second product we found was a winner. If we exclude all of my talking and teaching, that took me, I would say I found that on minute number 2, because minute number 1 was on this, basically deciding that this was not something that we wanted. Minute number 2 was spent on this, deciding, yeah, that's a good one. All right, so I'll heart that. All right, next up, we've got a LOL surprise. I am going to skip this one because I think probably most of you here are probably gated in LOL surprise. So I'll skip that. But if that's something that you want to look into, I'll highlight the ASIN there if you guys want to check that for yourself. All right. I'll do 1 or 2 more and then look for some questions. Hopefully Aubrey is here and watching. Or if you have specific, like, if you're like, oh, Nate, I don't like products where it's only $2 a profit. I want X amount. Or I need products where it's selling this fast. Or I need products in this category. Or I want products from these types of stores. Tell me in the chat. I'm here for you guys. I will run any kind of search that you need, and I'll look at a couple items for you. Or if you have an item that you've already found and you want to pick my brain, you're like, hey, what do you think of this ASIN? Send me it in chat, and I will happily break it down. All right, next up, we've got this. $1.34, a little bit low. It looks like it's probably selling fast. Let me pull up the Amazon listing first, just to see what that sales rank actually. Ooh, yeah, it's selling very fast. 300 bought in the past month. This is a very low ticket thing. Yeah, it's not selling for very much, but if you get this for dirt cheap, there's a little bit of money multiplied by a lot of sales. Yeah, multiple people selling it, so there shouldn't be any IP issues there, and you should be able to get ungated in it. Price history looks solid. We're actually going up Yeah, it was $1.31, and then Amazon decided we're losing money on that, so they upped it to 342, and they've upped it again. Now they're selling it for 771. So as long as they continue along that path, you'd be good. Let me pull it up over here real fast. This would be one of those like some people like the fast nickel, some people like the slow dime. This is the fast nickel. This is doing a lot of sales in a short amount of time, but for a small amount. All right, 279 is our buy cost. Oh, actually, you can get this even cheaper if you are getting multiples. If we buy 24, we get down to 254. Ships for 449. Or if we spend over that amount, which we would be close to. Yeah, if we buy 24 of these for 278, I can't do that mental math, but we're pretty close to that break point. So I'm just going to say we're going to get free shipping for this. Let's input this cost for 254. All right. And actually, Nepeto has the base price. They don't even have that discount price. So I'm going to use that 254 as our launching point to check this. All right, $1.60, 65% ROI, but it's selling so much. Like, and again, this is another one of those basically zero prep items. Yeah, you could do a lot of damage with this. Very interesting. This might even be one. So depending on how you receive this product, if you receive this and it's literally just a box full of these plastic things like this would be one of those cases where I think you could honestly make an argument for commingling. Commingling is where like there is no label on it and all the products just kind of get put together. This could be something where I could see an argument being made for commingling, because if you receive it just like that and there's no packaging or anything like that on it already, skipping the entire process of putting labels on this, that would be really interesting. Now, that will send it to a completely different part of the warehouse. You won't be able to combine that with non-commingled items. And 99.9% of the time, you should not be commingling. This will be something where I think you could make the case for it. Low ticket, low effort. Overall, I like it. It's not like a home run or anything. It's not like I'm going to retire off of this. But if you like those fast nickel kinds of flips, this is small, this is light. You could sell a bajillion of these real fast, especially if you beat Amazon on price. Some people are like, oh, I hate competing against Amazon. They don't share the buy box. Well, that's fine. Just beat them in price. Instead of selling it for $770, sell it for $760. Okay. I'll tell you, there's a very high chance you'll get the buy box if you are undercutting Amazon like that. And even if they don't share the buy box, so like I can see this person is selling it for $755 FBM. Even if they don't share the buy box, you're going to get a savvy customer who goes, oh, you know what? I can actually buy it from this person and save 25 cents or whatever it is. So they'll buy it from you even if you don't have the buy box, which is what we saw right there. So yeah. All right. Let me find one more, and then I'll hop over into some questions. Again, if there's a specific search that you want, like a category or parameters or something that you want me to use, let me know. I don't want to go like super deep into Nepeto. I will be doing multiple breakout sessions during our upcoming sourcing camp for Nepeto. So if there's like, man, I really want to see this like deeper feature, come to sourcing camp. We're going to be really diving into this pretty hard. And I might even be open to doing like a free like Nepeto workshop if people are interested in that. But let me see. Let me find one more. All right. There's some good profit and good ROI. Let me double check to see how many sellers are on this. So like you could turn this option on where the listing must have 4 or more Amazon offers. This will pretty much get rid of all of your private label results. That'll also filter out a number of your normal results that you might want to see. So I don't usually turn that on, but that is an option. What I'm going to check here is I'm going to check how many sellers are on this. Currently 5. There's not much of a sales rank history, only 2 ratings. Let me see review count. Yeah, I just don't, there's not enough data here for me to confidently know that this is selling. So we're going to pass that one. Let's see. Let me find one that's a little bit higher in the profit. So that's higher in profit, but lower in ROI. This is a little bit of both. So we're over that $3 mark that some people like, over that 30% mark that some people like. Let's pull this up. This is from HEB. This is a regional grocery store. So if you live in the southwest part of the country, you probably have an HEB pretty nearby you, and you should be able to order this. I live in Florida, so I cannot order this for myself, but this is going to be a great lead for those of you who can take advantage of it. And honestly, this is the kind of thing that I would look at local stores. So like I live in Florida, I have a Publix. I would see if Publix has this item. If you live in the north, check if Kroger has this, or check if what is it? Fred Meyer's has this. Okay, lots of those regional grocery stores will be carrying stuff like this. All right, so what are we looking at here? We're looking at an almost $19 sale price. It is consistently selling, so I'm looking at this green graph, the sales rank. There's lots of movement, so it's definitely selling a fair bit. Multiple people on it, so there shouldn't be any IP or gating issues here. Review count is steadily climbing. Price history is very steady here. For the past, since June, it's been going for 19.5. When I looked last year, let's see, it was about 20, so October, we're looking at about 20 for September, October, November. Every once in a while, Amazon jumped on it at $10, which kind of tanked it down and people started freaking out. Once we got into December, Amazon was fairly, pretty regularly they were on the listing. What's interesting though is, so like I'm showing you this right here. Amazon was selling it for $10.99, but the listed buy box price was $20.20. So not only was someone else getting the buy box from Amazon, but they were twice Amazon's price and getting the buy box. Most likely this was Amazon being back ordered, so they said you could get it from them, but then it was like, oh, if you order this now, get it by January 30th or something like that. And people didn't want that, so they were paying a premium to get it from someone who could get it there faster. But yeah, we'll see that as we get into there. Yeah, I mean, overall, it did tank a little bit. I'd say down to like 15, but it popped back up to 20 pretty fast after that. And after sort of that January, December sell-off, pretty consistently, we're back up here at $20. So I think this $19, $20 is a very reasonable price point. We know that it's selling. Let's check the profitability on it. So if we buy this for $7.46, how much money are we looking at here? 50% ROI, $370 according to these calculations with some other stuff input. The reason why it's giving you different, people always ask us like, oh, why does this say $4 and why does this say $370? Which one is more accurate? That's the wrong kind of question because there's no such thing as a more accurate calculator. A calculator is a calculator. Both of these are just calculators. They're just taking the numbers that are being input and spitting out the output. The reason why the output is different is because the inputs are slightly different. So for example, and this isn't indicative of these two tools specifically. This is like every calculator. You're going to get slightly different outputs because every single one calculates things slightly differently. One might be accounting for like your inbound shipping. Make sure your inbound shipping is set to like 50 cents, or if you want to go higher than that, put it for 60 or 70 cents per pound for inbound shipping. One might be accounting for storage time. So like maybe Ace and Zen is thinking you're probably going to take like 2 months to sell this. So we're going to add 2 months of storage fees to your product. And maybe Nepeto says, oh, you're going to instantly sell this. And so they're adding 0 fees. Okay, just little things like that can change the output ever so slightly. But the calculators are all identical. It's just what is being input. Okay. Yeah, overall, I like that. And that's without any kind of coupons, things like that. I believe if HEB is anything like any of the other regional grocery stores, they're going to be running sales on this. $1 off, $2 off, buy one, get one half off. Those kinds of things will be very, very common for this type of product. But even without it, it looks profitable. All right. So overall, let's just pretend like I haven't been talking now. How long have we been going? About 26 minutes. Let's take, I'd say 15 minutes off of that, just because I've been talking. I think reasonably, if I was doing this by myself, this would have been about 10 minutes in. So 10 minutes, there was one dud, there was one winner. There was one thing I skipped. It might be a winner, but I skipped it. There was one, I would say it was a winner depending on the seller, if you like these smaller flips. One dud, I skipped that, I skipped that, I skipped that, and I liked that. All right. So 1, 2, 3 products, 3 different kinds of people will, you might like some of those, you might like all of those, you might like none of those, but we found 3 products, I would say, in about 10 minutes of sourcing time. And some of those appear to be replenishable. All right, I am going to take my screen off. So yeah, if you guys want a link to Nepeto, let me know. I can get you a 2-week free trial to check it out. But this isn't like this is for sourcing. I'm trying to show you guys how to source. There's so many different ways of sourcing. This is not the answer. This is one method. And it just happens to be what I'm choosing today because someone just posted about it in our House of Buddies group. All right, let me pop over into chat and see what kinds of questions we've got. All right. Any settings that we should input in order to get real data, meaning a shipping cost? Well, it depends on what tool. Like every tool has some settings you should be inputting. Almost everything out there has a setting for inbound shipping cost. So your seller app, you should open up your Amazon seller app. At the top left corner, click those 3 little bars. There should be a little thing for settings. And then there should be a little spot for shipping settings. I don't want to pull it up right now, but you can input your cost per pound in there. I recommend 50 cents per pound. If your average shipping has been higher than that, then input like 70 cents per pound, whatever you want. Just something in there. Yeah, so do that in there. You can do the same thing in Nepeto. You can do the same thing in ASINZen. You can do the same thing in SellerAmp. You can do the same thing in RevSeller. You can do the same thing in Inventory Lab. Whatever tool you're using where you are seeing data and seeing numbers being thrown at you, you should always set up that inbound shipping thing. As far as like ROI triggers or buy box triggers, I don't personally set any of that up. I don't need a machine to like highlight something green if it's over 30% ROI. Like I can read 29% ROI and understand that it's not over 30% ROI. So I don't set any of those like color changing triggers up in any of my apps ever. I just don't care. That's not how I look at them. If that's helpful to you, then great, go for it. Put some of your thoughts, but always be willing to work outside of it for the right reasons. Rachel, I need fast moving items. I can FBM, preferably $5 plus return. All right, let me see if I can find that. I'll go through a couple more questions, but I'll go back and I'll see if I can find something like that. That would be great. Show us. Hang on a second. I'm trying to read this whole comment here from Danny over on Facebook. He wants to show us how to input that specific info about different categories, but most importantly, I think, is the cost of buying. Another cost would be shipping from them to us. And what about tax exemption? Lots of sites tax exempt. Okay. As far as costs go, like what costs you should be inputting. The cost of them shipping the item to you is almost always zero. There are very few websites on the internet that do not give you some way to get free shipping. Usually you have to purchase over a certain dollar amount. So it's like you purchase over $50 or $40 or $70, whatever it is, and then you get free shipping. So because of that, you should just always be buying enough to always be getting free shipping. It is so incredibly rare that I will pay for shipping that I don't input that anywhere in any of my calculations ever. For shipping to Amazon, yes. So that'll be input automatically into whatever calculating tool you use. There's a free Nepeto calculating tool, so you can input it there. Put 50 cents a pound or 70 cents a pound, whatever you want to put in for your shipping to Amazon, you can input that. For taxes, this is another interesting one where you can get tax exemption for a couple websites. Most websites don't do tax exempt specifically through the website. You can always, I would recommend, like when you're going to a new website, send them a support email and ask them if they have a tax exempt program and how to sign up for it. It'll take you 1 minute. Like you should have just a template for that. That you can just copy and paste and send it to whatever internet site that you were sourcing from. But the vast majority don't. Depending on your state, and most states offer this, you can get all of the sales tax that you paid back to you at the end of the year, as long as you're recording it. So we use a receipt scanner, and it'll actually itemize specifically like sales. So it'll show us like total amount paid, but it'll also specifically scan for the line item that says sales tax, and it'll record that across all of our receipts and add that all up and compile that over the course of the year. So it's very easy to just show your state like, hey, I spent $1,937.56 on taxes this year that I wasn't supposed to, because you're not supposed to be paying taxes on products that are for resale. It's double dipping, and the government isn't supposed to double dip on that tax, and you are fully within your rights in almost every state to get that back. And the states that don't do it, you can put it into your cost of goods, and you're still getting roughly 30% back. So that's another one. Like, I don't personally put that into my calculations. Again, especially when I'm showing people, because everyone's sales tax is different, and some people are getting it back. Most people are getting it back. So that's another reason why I don't, but some people do, and that's completely fine. Everyone's going to have slightly different workflows, and that is a good thing. All right. Hey, Nate, I think I understand the concept of this feature. My question is, should we be concerned about price tanking if this information is accessible to all, or they're recommended to random people that ever? So yeah, a couple parts to this. Like, how are the recommended items different than a leads list? So let me scroll up, or maybe it's at the bottom. Maybe it'll show me. Will it show me down there? No, it won't. I'm going to share my screen again, and I'll show you a couple things. This is specific to Nepeto. Okay, so this home screen, remember guys how I have input no settings at all. I have not filtered this in any way. I have not organized this in any way. Because I have clicked nothing, all I did was I just clicked on their OA tool, like the retail OA. Every time that you click on this, you will get a random result of random items placed here, and everyone will see random results. See, I just did it again. There is not a single thing on my page that was on our previous page. Not a single one. I mean, maybe the odds of it are incredibly low of seeing the exact same item twice in a row. Because like they're scraping, and they just added 4 more suppliers. They're scraping, I believe, a couple hundred websites every single day for the most part, every single product that's on that website. There are, like, every hour, you can actually see here when was it found on. So this was found at 8:24 a.m. of today. This was found at 8:21 today. This was found at 7:30. This was found a little bit earlier in the morning. This was found last night. Okay. So there is tens, maybe hundreds of thousands. Like, there's so many results here that, yeah, like other people could be finding it as well with web scrapers. It's the same amount of people would be finding this in any, like, if you find something on a website, if it's possible for someone to scrape that website, there's a chance that they will see the exact same item that you saw. So, I mean, it's similar to all OA. Stuff can tank. Nothing lasts forever. You should be doing best practices, going wide instead of deep, using a repricer so that you can sell out of your inventory, looking for red flags as far as price tanking. So for example, if you are shopping at Walmart and this is on sale at Walmart, there is a 100% chance that the amount of sellers is at least going to double over the next 30 days because there's just so many people who shop at Walmart. But if you're getting this from, we'll say Joann's, all right? Like, how many people are shopping at Joann's? I mean, there's definitely sellers shopping at Joann's, but not nearly as many as Walmart. And how many sellers are okay with making $1.50 with 30% ROI? Again, not very many people. Maybe how many people know how to stack coupons at Joann's? So like you click this and it says $1.50, but wait a second. If you're a savvy shopper, if you're a crafter, you know, you've been on the inside, you know Joann's runs great sales on stuff and you can stack things. So while yes, this is priced at $4.89, there are, like, this is like the sale price. You can also get 10 off of 85 or 15 off of 100 or 20 off of 150 and free shipping. So if you're getting 20% less than that, this $4.89 just went down to, let's see, about $1 less, roughly. We're close to being exactly $1 less, but this would be actually about $3.89. All right. So all of this, add an extra dollar. This went from 150 to probably about 250 in profit. This goes from 30 to, if I'm spending 3 and I'm making 250, I mean, we're like, what is that? 75, 80% ROI. So stack your competitive advantages, do things that other people don't know how to do, and you'll sort of create this this space around yourself of profitability that other people don't know about, and that's sort of how you can differentiate yourself. Okay. Let's see, stop sharing screen. So yeah, hopefully that sort of answered the question. How's it different than a leads list? A leads list is going to be like 10 items shared with 20 people. This is like 100,000 people shared with whoever's using it, and everyone's going to be looking at data differently. Everyone's going to be rabbit trailing off of it. So it's like it's hard to compare this to that because the numbers are just so astronomically different. Let's see. Where you didn't put in any parameters for this sourcing session, would these same ASINs show up for all Nepeto users at the top of their search as well? So yeah, I just covered that, Michelle. If you don't put any parameters, it's going to be random every single time that you click that OA thing. It's going to be random. Now, if like, let's say you select a store, like I want to specifically, like we were just on, was that farm hardware and tools is where we found that one thing. So it's like, if you want to search hardware and tools, awesome. You can actually specifically select, I want to search hardware and tools, and I want to see products within these parameters. Awesome. Like you'll see that anyone else who did that exact same parameters will get those same results. You can subsequently rabbit trail off of it. There are things where they weren't able to scrape the data. There's always more data that you can find that was unscrapable. For whatever reason, there's always coupons that you can add on top of things that other people don't know about. Like that Joann's one. Do a search for Joann's and know that everything that you find, you can actually get it for 20% less. All right. Let's see. Yeah, hopefully that answered it for Pam and Michelle. Considering all the fees such as shipping, storage, etc., what would be the minimum profit you should be looking for dollar-wise? That's just not a question that I like to answer. The common answer is about $3, maybe $4, and like 30% ROI. But I work outside of that so frequently. I think I don't like putting it into that kind of a box. Profit is profit. If you understand the nuances, if you're able to sort of work around things to make profit where other people are not willing to make it, then awesome. I think that you should do that. I think, yeah. So a common answer is about $3 a profit, but I'll go below that, especially like if there's no prep. Now, if there's a lot of prep, let's say you buy some glass mason jars. Let me make sure my screen is, yeah. Like let's say you're trying to sell like a 6-pack of these and you're making $2 a profit. You are out of your freaking mind. I don't care how much it costs. You can get these for free. If you're trying to make $2 a profit shipping a 6-pack of these glass jars, no, that's not happening, man. You've gotta they have to be wrapped, like polybagged together or shrink wrapped together. They've got to be bubble wrapped. You've got like the do not separate sticker. You're gonna be spending 5+ minutes on just the prep work for this one single thing. No, not a chance. I'm okay making $2 of profit on that. If I sell a pencil and there's like literally nope, like I just throw it into the box, it's good to go, and no prep at all. Yeah, I'm cool making $2, especially if this pencil is selling like 1,000 units a month. All right, I get half those sales. That's 500 sales, $2 a unit. That's $1,000 for basically zero work. The people who are like, oh, I would never go below $3 just passed up selling this pencil for $2 in profit, and I made $1,000 that other people weren't willing to make. So I think it's good to have in your mind, like, okay, shoot for maybe like $3-ish, but always be willing to work outside of that for the right reasons. All right, let me see. Any other questions? Receipt scanner. I use a Fujitsu Scan Snap. I did a video with all of the different tools I use for my business. That was one that I use. There's also like receipt scanner, like Shoeboxed is a service where you can just send all of your receipts in. There's phone apps that will scan receipts now. It's technology has come a long way in the past 5 or 6 years since I've sort of got my main setup for my processes. But yeah, it's so vast. It's not like you're seeing like, yeah, Pam, it's not like, okay, here's the 10 profitable products that we found. It's like, here's the 200,000 profitable products. Which 10 do you want to look at right now? It's so vast. So yeah. All right, let me pop over to YouTube, see if we've got any questions in here. Have I tried the Nepeto Master Search? Yes, I love it. That's a little outside the scope of this video, but yes, I very much like their Master Search and lots of other things that they have in it. Let's see. Tried it, but not a lot of pages popped up. Even though keep ahead over 10K results. Yeah, it kind of depends on. I would have to look at the data, but I'll be showing that in during sourcing camp. We'll do a session on the master searching portion of that. It's a little more advanced, so it's kind of outside the scope of like, let me pop on for a free YouTube video, because 99% of the people who are watching this probably won't know what I'm talking about. All right. Another question that comes to mind, I wonder, is if anyone is having issues with Seller Central. I had daily payouts, but suddenly all my money is being held up. Yeah, maybe make a post about that in our Facebook group. That's sort of where we crowdsource the news or the feelings. So yeah, if anybody else is having issues with their daily payouts, I'm sure that they can chime in. On A to A flips, how do you know the price will go back up after your purchase? I look at the historical Keepa chart. So if a product has always sold for $20, like yesterday it was $20, last month it was $20, last year it was $20, and today it's selling for $5, well, I'm pretty confident it's going to go back up to $20. That's just how the data works. There's no reason, like you don't just jump down to $5 for absolutely no reason and then stay there. There's always a chance, but the chance is very low. We're not. It's a little bit different. So another way of doing Amazon to Amazon flipping is like during Christmas time, during Q4, some people will do A to A flipping where it's like, okay, here's the hot toy, and it's always selling for $100, but I'm pretty sure that everyone's gonna go out of stock and no one will be able to find this, and this is gonna be one of those like, everyone's like rushing to the store to buy this for their kid because no one can find it anywhere, and I'm pretty sure that the price is gonna go up to 200. To me, that's a little bit more like gambling, because I don't know that the price is going to go up to 200. I don't know that there's going to be stock issues. I don't know that it's going to be this year's like hot toy that no one can find in stock anywhere. So I generally avoid that entirely. It's similar in that like, okay, here's today's price and we're sort of trying to extrapolate what we think the price could be. But instead of using the hard and fast historical data where it's like, okay, this has always been $20, I am very confident, like 99% certainty that it will go back to that price point. That we just have so much historical data. That to me is an entirely different ballgame with so much more safety than sort of gambling on, well, I think that this toy, which is not profitable now, will become profitable during the height of Q4 because everyone's going to try to buy it and no one's going to have it in stock. And it's just going to it's going to inflate in price so astronomically. So rather than looking for and hoping for that inflated price, I'm looking for personally, how I mostly do Amazon to Amazon flipping is I look for the deflated price where it's like, for whatever reason, like this is on a crazy sale or someone's got it on clearance or there's an error. I'm looking for the crazy sales where it's deflated and it's just going to reinflate itself back up to the normal price. So hopefully that helps over there. Joshua, I think is how you say your name. I apologize if I got that wrong. All right. Where is the link to sourcing camp? There is a QR code floating above my forehead right there, or let me share the link here in chat for you. So yeah, Q4 sourcing camp is coming up. It is it's a paid event. Think of it like an e-conference for Amazon sellers. So there's going to be a few hundred sellers that all get together and we source together. We do this, but much more in depth. And it's not just me. I'm bringing in 22 different camp counselors. These are all 6, 7, and 8-figure Amazon sellers. They have active businesses. It's not like, oh, let me bring in the gurus who have the classes, but they're not actually selling anything. It's all people with active businesses, and we're bringing them in so that they can actually source for us. And so it's sort of like getting to go to the store with them and watch over their shoulder. So like we'll see what websites are they going to, or if they're doing RA, what stores are they going to, or if they're doing A to A, what tools are they using to do Amazon to Amazon flipping? And then what is their process like? Because there's a million ways to make $1,000,000. There's not like the Nate way and then everyone else's way sucks. Like, no, I have my methods for making money. I have many different styles and things that I know how to do, but there's plenty of things that I either don't know how to do, or I didn't have much success when I tried it, so I just didn't pursue it further. Whereas other people found a lot of success with it and pursued it immensely and learned lots of nuances. Everyone has different experiences. Everyone has different flavors and styles of sourcing, and that's what I love. So we've put together sourcing camps so we can see all these different people come in and source for us with their various styles and tools. It's not, some people are like, oh, what tools do I need to get before sourcing camp? There are no tools that you need to get before sourcing camp because all of us will be using different tools. Some of us will be using no tools at all. There's a couple sessions where it's like very specifically, let's just do like manually sourcing, where we're not bloating our overhead with a bunch of subscriptions and things like that, but let's find the stuff that other people aren't finding because they're using things like web scrapers. And let's find this stuff manually that's much more difficult to find, but much more like long live. Like you can find a lot more replens and things like that. All right. All right. Let me see any other questions. My buddy Joey's a counselor. Yeah, I'm super stoked for Joey Wheeler's going to be one of the guys coming in to do a session. I think he's doing an RA session for us, so that'll be a lot of fun. He's gonna walk us through a store, show us what he scans, why he scans it, why he likes it, and all that good stuff. So yeah, it's gonna be an awesome time. If you guys are interested in that, I posted a link in the chat, or you can scan this QR code right here next to my head. All right. Any other last minute questions before I hop off and get going with the rest of my day? Let's see here over on Facebook. Let's see. Danny says, I always get burned with toys in Christmas. I always get stuck with a lot of returns, especially the expensive ones, with accessories. Like, yeah. Oh, yeah, like they'll take like the hairbrush out, but give you the Barbie back. Yeah, that's always annoying. Yeah, unfortunately it's part of the returnuary, what we all refer to as January. Yeah, it's part of the game. Let's see. Yeah, Joey's a really cool guy. He does a lot of good stuff. Joey is coming on. Let me pull up my calendar. Let me see. Sourcing camp calendar. Schedule. Oh, my computer is having a bit of a seizure right now, and it is not, my whole screen is white. Give me just a second, and I will tell you when Joey is coming. Joey is coming. Oh, he's actually on the first day. So 6 p.m. on Friday, September 6th. Joey is coming on. So he's on that very first kickoff day, starting things off with a bang. All right. Nate, a general sourcing camp question. I've been looking to connect with a few resellers and join a small group to share ideas. I've seen some members post their yes. Okay, so Pam is asking, basically, I'll paraphrase this for those of you who are watching on YouTube. Pam wants to find like a small group of sellers, not like a paid event or anything like that, just like a couple, like 3, 4, 5 people that she can connect with and just talk with. Like, we're Amazon sellers. We don't have coworkers. We don't, unless we create it, we don't have people around us that we can bounce ideas off of. So Pam wants to find a small, tight-knit group of people that are roughly around the same like sales size as her. She doesn't want like, I think Pam's been selling for a little bit. She probably doesn't want a group with someone who's brand new to Amazon and doesn't know anything, because they're going to be asking all these questions and they have nothing to offer. All right. Forming small groups of similarly, it doesn't have to be exactly, but similarly sized sellers or similar like experience. Like, okay, we've all been selling for a couple years. We know the ins and outs. Maybe you're selling $1 million and maybe I'm selling $250,000 or $500,000, but like we both understand what's going on. We've been in this for a couple years. I think finding groups like that is invaluable. And I think groups like Sourcing Camp are the catalyst for almost every successful small group like that I've ever seen. Yeah, this is the place to find people that are actively selling and serious about their business and serious about growing and learning and sharing. So yeah, if you join Sourcing Camp, make a post, introduce yourself, tell like maybe share like, oh, here's how long I've been selling, or here's like roughly, you don't need to get exact, but like rough sales numbers, like, oh, I'm doing 10K a month, or I'm doing 100K a month, whatever it is. And say like, I'm looking to connect with a couple people around my size where we can just kind of bounce ideas off of after Sourcing Camp ends. Absolutely. I love that idea. I can't monetize that idea. That's not like you're paying me money, but I feel like that's so invaluable to people that I am not going to block that from going on in Sourcing Camp. If people are looking for like small groups, things like that, yeah, I love it. If you want like a tight knit like paid community where there's maybe like 50 people or 100 people, something like that, but it's ongoing, I'll have some stuff, some offers and things like that I'll talk about during Sourcing Camp. In fact, I've got we call it like the Rabbit Trails mastermind, where we're actually getting together. Is today Tuesday? We're actually getting together tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be our very first one. So if you're interested in that, let me know and I can send you a link. But basically, I send a link out to a couple people right now. I think we've got like 8 or so people in the group. I'm going to cap it at 25, but I haven't talked too much about it. But yeah, really small group of people. I'm going to send out a small lead list to those couple people. And then we're going to jump on a video and I'm going to talk about those leads. We're going to talk about like how they were found, the nuances, what things I like about it. If there's things I don't like, we're going to rabbit trail off of it, all of that stuff. So I'm really excited about that. It's something I'm putting together. But yeah, if you want like a free, like basically you want coworkers to talk to, absolutely. Make a post about it in Sourcing Camp and I can almost guarantee it'll happen. Do I have an afterpay option? I don't. 50% of my refunds are people who have used that, so I just turned that option off, and I got rid of 50% of the people who refunded things. I believe I have a pay over time. Yeah, so I do have a pay over time option. Basically, you can pay over 3 months if you would like to. If you pay for it all at once, you get a discount. It's like $100 off or whatever if you pay for it all at once. But there is a pay over time option. It's just not with Afterpay. There's a lot of, I had more refunds that way, and there's also a lot of extra fees. It was like, I think they charged me like 10% or something. Will the camp be 100% recorded? Yes. Every single live session that we do, it'll be like, it's a live session. I'm not like pre-recording videos and then posting them in. So they're live sourcing sessions, but they are all recorded, so then you can watch them later afterwards in case you missed something or if you want to rewatch something. I have people tell me all the time, like they just put this on repeat in the background of like their warehouse or whenever they're doing prep stuff, and they just like rewatch through the videos because there's so much. There's going to be just the sourcing breakout sessions. There's about 45 hours of them that are scheduled, and that's not accounting for any of the bonus videos. So, I mean, we're easily getting over 50 hours of content here. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of stuff, and it'll all be available in recording form. Let's see. Thanks. He has been helping get a little stuff. Oh, you're talking about your buddy. Yeah. Sweet. Let's see. Pam says, thanks. I'll be signing up for Sourcing Camp. This sounds like what I'm looking for. Perfect. Yeah, I miss having coworkers at times. For sure. That's like, it's one of those like, this can be a very fun business, especially at the start. But when some of that fun aspect wears off, or once things start getting a little more monotonous, it can become a really lonely business really fast. Especially if you're doing like OA instead of doing RA. I can sit on my computer for literally a month and never see a single human being outside of my direct family. Like, I don't need to go anywhere. I don't need to get gas. My kids are homeschooled. Like, I'm not driving them to a school or anything. So it's like I can stay here all day and not see anybody for months. So yeah, it's important to sort of get some of those human connections, missing those coworkers, doing all that. The pay over time, let me check. It's $197. So like $197 now, and then $197 next month, and then $197 a third month. So you sort of pay for it over Q4. Does Sourcing Campsite have a way to give me the discount for past attendees? I think you said if we bought the program from you. Yeah, if you have attended any past sourcing camps, there's two places that you would have gotten this information. So I made a post in the past sourcing camp. We used to do this inside of Facebook groups. There's private Facebook groups. So look in whatever sourcing camp group that you were a part of. If it was June, if it was March, if it was like last year, I think we did one last July. Whatever group that you're a part of, you should see a post in there that includes the 50% off coupon and 50% off link. If not, you should have gotten an email sent to you as well. I sent an email out to all past camp members. Yeah, it's one of those two places. If you can't find it, shoot me a PM and I can get you hooked up. So you online source. I do all of the sourcing. I think people, especially beginners, it's easy to kind of put things in boxes like, oh, are you an OA seller or are you an RA seller? There are very few people who only do one of those. Or are you an A to A seller? There's so few people that only do like one method of sourcing. I do a bit of everything. It's whatever I'm in the mood for. If I want to get out of the house and I want to go to some stores, I'm going to do some retail arbitrage. If I want to chill on my computer and let something like Nepeto scrape some deals for me, I'll use Nepeto. If I want to do stuff manually, I'll do stuff manually. If I want to do A to A flipping, I'll do A to A flipping. RA stands for retail arbitrage. That's mostly what I believe Joey does. So if you've watched him, if he's helped you with stuff, it's going into stores physically and finding the products by physically going into the store. Online arbitrage, exactly the same. I'm just not physically going into the store. I'm ordering it online. And then Amazon to Amazon, A to A flipping is similar. Like I'm finding discrepancies in prices. I'm just buying it from Amazon instead of an online store, and then I'm flipping it right back onto Amazon. And there's actually a couple of, there's like, we have someone coming in talking about how to sell on Walmart and how she sources stuff to sell on the Walmart website as opposed to selling it on Amazon. We've got somebody who's going to talk about getting into wholesale, that process. So we're going to cover a lot of different things. I reached out to people who are running successful businesses and I just asked if they could come and show us like actively what are you doing. These aren't like YouTube interviews where it's just fluffy like, oh, I overcame all these things or I did this and that. Like we have some incredible stories, but the focus is not to like hype you up or get you interested in a person's story. The focus is let me tangibly show you how we source. And then as we source stuff, like we'll just give you those leads. Like don't think of it like oh, I'm getting all these leads for free. Because if you're getting, listen, guys, if you sign up for something and it's like, oh yeah, you'll get all these leads, and there's like 100 people getting the exact same leads, that's not really what a leads list is for. That's too many people getting the exact same leads list. If you're looking at something where there's like hundreds of thousands of things, okay, sure, 100 people can share hundreds of thousands. That's a different story, but. So don't think of this like a leads list, but we will share like all the leads that we find. If you want to buy a couple things, it's like, oh, you know what? Like that pair of socks looks really good. It hits all my parameters. I'll buy a couple pairs of those, or maybe I'll rabbit trail off of that. Yeah, we're going to share all of those leads. Every time that we put on Sourcing Camp, we make it a point where like if you've purchased one of about a third of the things that we find, you have fully paid for the camp with the profits that you've made from those items. So we make it a point to make you enough money actively by finding you like active things that you can flip right now to pay for the camp, to sort of make it free-ish. For those of you guys who are putting in the work to find the stuff, we're sort of making it free for you if you're willing to actually get out there and buy the products. Okay. All right. Yeah, I love it. It works so well with homeschooling, Nick. Because yeah, like you can stay home with your kids. You don't have to leave. You can also incorporate them into your businesses. You can pay your children to do tasks that are applicable to them. And I'm not even just talking about like, obviously, okay, if you've got a high school kid, obviously you can hire them for your business. But even young kids, like, do you have a 6-year-old? Do you have a 7-year-old who likes folding boxes or who likes taking stickers off of clearance items? You can legally hire them and pay them completely legally. I'm not even saying like, oh yeah, under the table. Oh, this is like a sweatshop. Nope, not what I'm talking about. The U.S. Well, I'm talking to the people located in the U.S. I know not everyone is, but the U.S. labor laws are written for farmers, and they're written for people who have a lot of young kids. As long as the task is a reasonable task for their age, and as long as their compensation is a reasonable compensation for that task. So, like, if you tell your 6-year-old, hey, I need you to go around the warehouse and pick up all of like the trash that's on the floor and put it in the trash can, and you try to pay them $100 and you try to write off $100 on your taxes, the IRS is going to be like, you just paid a 6-year-old $100 to pick up a bunch of trash. Like, it's a reasonable job for a 6-year-old, but it's not reasonable payment. You have to do everything reasonably where it makes sense. But yeah, if you're like, hey, like I'll give you, I don't know, like 10 cents for every sticker that you take off, that's reasonable. And they do 10 items, there's $1. They do 20 items, there's $2. They do 100 items. All right, now we're talking, that's a lot of money. All right. Love it. Ooh, 18, 15, 14, 9, and a newborn on the way. Whoa, you got a newcomer. A new player has joined the match. Love it, man. Congrats. Awesome. All right. That's all from me, guys. I hope you got some value from that. I hope you made a little bit of money. I tried to show you guys a couple products that worked. The person who originally posted that, Aubrey, I hope you're watching the replay, man. I hope this helped clear some things up. Yeah, I guess I don't really like... It's so simple that when people say that they don't find something with Nepeto, I feel like you're probably clicking on the wrong spot, because I literally did nothing. Like, I didn't input any settings. It's very difficult to use incorrectly if you just start at the really basic stuff. There's lots of extra stuff that you can get into that has its own nuances. But at a basic form, it is easy to find profit. All right. Okay. Hopefully that helps. I hope to see you all at Sourcing Camp. Feel free to post comments in our Facebook group if you have a specific sourcing style or method or question about sourcing. Post it